We're going live. The whole world. All right. Okay. Welcome everyone to Tell number 89, Eating It. I don't know what we're eating, but we're gonna find out. Welcome to the Bureau. My name is Greg Newton. My partner is Donnie Jokum. We are the co-founders of the Bureau. Thank you very much. We are being assisted tonight by the lovely Bonita. Their final night with us. Or they go back to Paris and then Barbados. It's gonna be a tough time, I know. But Bonita's been lovely and we really appreciated having you. So we will miss you. What do I want to say? I want to say happy holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate or none. Just celebrate Satan. That's cool. Talk to me. He's with us all the time. So we have a little donation bag, which goes to the bookstore to help us keep doing what we do, and also goes to our storytellers. So we have suggested donation $10, but we always say give what you can if you can. And if you'd rather Venmo us, you can do that at VGSQD. Turn this down. Feedback.
Am I coughing?
Yes, please.
It's yours. It's just for you.
Better. All right, and where's my script? What did I do with my script?
Satan took it.
Satan took it. Yes, I did. I wanted to do that. A little land acknowledgement.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Before we get going. So the Bureau acknowledges that our organization operates on the unceded land of the Munsee Lenape, and we encourage you to join us in signing up to make a monthly donation to the American Indian Community Houses Mannahatta Fund. And the Mannahatta Fund, according to its website, is an invitation to all settlers and non-native people who wish to acknowledge the legacy of theft and genocide that comprise the history of New York City and the United States. And you can find out more at mannahattafund.org. And we also want to recognize that our own government is actively supporting the State of Israel's genocidal campaign against the Palestinian people with our tax dollars. And we hope that you will join us in calling for a permanent ceasefire and an end to the siege in order to end the collective punishment of the Palestinians and to ensure the swift delivery of much needed food, water, medicine, fuel, and medical aid to the people of Gaza. And with that, I welcome to the stage Greg Campbell, founder of TED.
Hello, thank you. Hi, streamy deemies, you little sluts. Hello. There's like nobody. Hi, is anyone there? I think I know who it is. Oh, wow. What an intro that was. Welcome to the, yes, we're eating it. We're eating it. I just want to tell you, we're in a great bookstore. This is just 3 things I just grabbed in the back to show you. Beyond the Gender Binary. How cute is this little baby? And then I'm feeling my feelings. We need this to live. Coloring book. Feeling my feelings. And then, you know, my all-time favorite. This actually, there should be a whole, just a drag costume dressed as this coloring book. It is butch lesbians of the 50s, 60s, and 70s coloring book. Look at this. What? I have this at home, by the way, and it is so fun to you know, use crayons and color little bow ties. Who knew? Who knew how many colors you could put into a butchy bow tie? Anyone? Buzz is like, I knew that. No, I didn't. Oh, just kidding. How's everybody feeling right now? Hi, welcome. Okay, yay, we're all together in this little gem of a space inside the Death Star. Whee! We're not saying what the Death Star is. Could be everything. We're inside everything. We're holding the space and it's closing in with a little quiz. Woo! We're eating it. Yes, yes, salad, but whatever it is getting eaten, honeys. And we're proud of eating it, aren't we? Are we feeling proud of eating? Yes, eating it. But eating it is like recently glamorized slang term. Am I right? Does it feel, or it's not recent? Recently promoted, but it's probably been around a long time. I'm not saying it hasn't been around. I'm just saying like all of a sudden it's like in a neon now, right? Doesn't it feel like it's like eating it? No?
Yeah.
People are like, I don't know. She ate, right?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Right, it's like a big, it's mostly a drag thing, I think, but you know, drag, queer, there's a lot of crossover. So I thought like, let's explore eating it. Let's dig in and eating it. Hey, there's a lot to be said for eating it. Oh, balls, dicks, whatever, we're eating it. Dicks, balls, ass, feet. Feet, someone's eating the feet. Someone's literally eating feet. I don't want to think about that too long. And I don't want you to either because well, let's not get on that track. What else? I'm wearing my San Francisco sweatshirt. I'm from the Bay Area, or it's my San Francisco Giants. This is as sporty as it gets for me. I mean, like I'm kind of an athletic person, but I really don't give a fuck about sports, like really like watching them and stuff. I'm like, okay, like this is it. This is me. I'm a jock now. Just standing on a what's up? Actually had a really great sweet experience where one of my neighbors who's an older man, I know a lot of my neighbors because I live and work in my neighborhood and I'm part of a tenants association, so it's like you just know everybody, and I have a dog. It's just nonstop, layers and layers. It's like being in the halls of like a job or high school. It's like, hey, how's it going? Anyway, there's this nice older straight man, Sisman, and he's a Sisman, presumably. And he, you know, this is another thing that's been around for a long time, but it's recently exciting and everybody's paying attention to is women's basketball, which is really exciting. Yay, women's basketball, right? We love that. Give them more money. But so this guy, so now it's like dudes are watching women's basketball. I did not used to give a shit about it for whatever reason, but and there these playoffs happened and New York was in the playoffs and everything. And I kind of felt like he was really trying to bond with me and he just thought like that's what I was into. So he came up and he's like, did you see that game? Like it was like he finally like had something with me that we could talk about on the street corner. And I was so like wanting to be there with him. And I was like I kind of knew what happened with the game. And I was happy for, you know, that they did well, but they didn't win New York blah. So he's like, I was that one shot where so-and-so did blah-zee-goo. And I was like, yep, that was fucked up. That was so fucked up. Wow. Nope. Oh, God. But that really happened. Yeah, he came up and I really almost cried because I was like, he was really connecting with me. And that's all that matters here. It doesn't matter that I didn't, you know, I was like, he was trying to reach out across what differences to me. I went too deep in. It's like, I guess I need a little more testosterone to wipe out those feelings. Anyone? No? Oh, just kidding. Jokes aplenty. We're eating it here. Welcome to San Francisco. Do you think when they name, I know that like, there's so many fucked up, names of, teams, American teams, but the Giants? What do you think they were thinking when they named the San Francisco? Just Giants! They're giants! What kind of giants? Like ogres? Like what? Is that an athletic thing? Is that like,
No, but
What-
it used to be as a designation of authority and a designation.
oh, right, he's big, he's a giant in the
Yeah,
field.
a giant
But that's
of the
like a
industry.
business thing, right?
Giant of the industry.
This guy's a giant of the
Yeah.
industry, but is that apply to baseball?
Well,
Also,
if that's what the image they want to portray, then. yeah.
listen, do you Giants, do you? But what is the symbol? What is the mascot? Just a big giant, I don't remember a giant.
I don't think they have, I work for me.
I grew up here, I used to root for them, but it's just,
Seal.
it's just a faggy hand.
Seal.
Oh, it is?
New seal.
That's new though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay. What's the seal's name? Seal. That's good. That's clever and cute. Also, how about the Dodgers? Just, whoa. Is that just is that an offensive team? Like, oh, or is that, would that be defensive? Oh, hey, oh,
It's a little dodgy.
it's, oh, we see,
And the character in Oliver Twist. is-
Dolja?
Yeah.
It's Dolja. Oh, but that's like a literal, that's also a designation as a Dodger.
Yes.
We're eating it. We're busy here. Speaking of eating it, anyone want to like see stuff on Instagram that is like, look at this giant puff of amazing caramel with a sugar person inside of it that you eat and it turns into caramel and ice cream. It has, and they're like, and you can get it at the store. Has anyone seen that? Is it, okay, so this is different. My algorithm is, I said, it to Sheila's like, I didn't know this existed until you said it to me. I guess some of them I look at, they're like, first you get a grilled cheese sandwich. You're like, okay, I'm listening. And then it ends with like 7 hamburgers and a fried egg. And you're like, that person's gonna die soon. Like, if they eat that, they're not gonna, it's not, anyway. And they're really just doing it for the Instagram and the TikToks, I guess. Are they actually eating it? Anyone? No. Is anyone here a food influencer? Is anyone? Are there any food influencers in the audience? No? Buzz, you look at me. Buzz is like, maybe. But, huh? Well, hello. Speaking of eating it, welcome. Hello. Yay, you look amazing. Gorgeous. Welcome.
I'm gonna have a little color.
You gotta have that pop of color. With a pop of collar, of course. Anyone in the 80s used to pop their collar?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And no one else but you and I were that age in the 80s, but we used to remember La Tigre shirts. Does anyone know La Tigre shirts? They were like similar to polo shirts.
They were the discounted Izod.
They were but they were trendy.
They were very.
And they had a
cool.
little tiger on it.
Yeah.
Was La Tigre named after that shirt company? The band?
Oh,
It's very queer vibes. But I used to get a La Tigre shirt, pop the collar. You had to pop the collar. That was it. And now you look back and you're like, what were we thinking? We were not eating it then. We weren't eating. We weren't eating. We were
trying to fit in.
starving
We
in
were trying to fit in.
fashion wise. What?
We were trying to fit in.
We were trying
We
too
were
hard to fit.
brainwashed by like the Breakfast Club in 16 again.
Facts. Hello, welcome, hello, fabulous photographer. You, don't videotape the last story. Just FYI, if you're videotaping. Welcome, everyone. Are we ready for our first storytelling? I'm gonna read information about you afterwards. They've been here before. We love them. They're amazing, wonderful. It's been too long since I've seen you, so I'm happy to have you back. Everybody, please give it up for Buzz Lutsky.
Hi, everyone. Thanks to Donnie and Greg and the Bureau and Dre for having me, and thanks everyone for coming. So good to see you. So when I was in second grade, I embarked on a sexy plan of action regarding my lunch bag. I had a crush on a boy in my class because he was the new kid from Brooklyn. He seemed smart, had dark hair and glasses, had a funny way about him, like how he would always sit on his legs folded up under him and flick his pencil around. In retrospect, he was a nerd, but not a dork. I had fluffy hair and I thought I was tall because I was best friends with the two shortest girls in the grade. It turned out I wasn't tall, but I was definitely boy crazy. Our teacher, Mrs. Faragine, let us have a band in class, a pretend band where we did air guitar and sang. I played the drums by tapping out rhythms on our teacher's step stool with little pens. We played songs like I've Got You, Babe, and Pretty Woman. I loved Mrs. Faragine so much for being so permissive, letting us play in a band, that I named my gerbil after her. Literally, the gerbil's name was Mrs. Faragine, no first name. Thanks, Dre. I thought about how I could make myself stand out so that my crush would notice me. In kindergarten and first grade, I carried a lunch bag that looked like a school bus rendered in printed vinyl. I think in second grade, in a new school building with older kids, I upgraded to a more plain, less semiotically babyish lunch bag, but it still wasn't sexy enough for this moment. I looked through my closet and found this little flirty bag that converted from a crossbody into a backpack with a snap around the rope string. The bag was black and covered in sequins. It was verging on baguette in the Carrie Bradshaw sense. I figured it would come off really sexy. From a young age, I must have picked up on the idea that your whole outfit could just be kind of whatever. I may have been wearing my light wash denim overalls and Timberlands hiking look. You know, it was 1995 after all. But if you had an elevated accessory, you could make it into a look that got noticed. I went down to the kitchen and said, "Mom, will you pack my lunch into this bag tomorrow?" She was like, "Okay." Okay. While she was suspicious, I got to hand it to her that she agreed to it. Bear with me. My pages are sticking together. Success. I ate it. I hadn't done a trial run of wearing the bag. So when I went to lunch, the bag, which I was wearing as a backpack, bumped against my butt in a way that I felt embarrassed by. There was a rhythm to it. Walk hit my butt, walk hit my butt, all the way down the hallway, down the stairs, down another hallway. I realized that the bag was designed for an adult torso and not a second grader. I entered the lunchroom expectantly and found my seat with my short friends. Inside of the bag was a Hershey's chocolate milk box, a sandwich, a few leaves of iceberg lettuce with no dressing, and a Girl Scout cookie. My friend across the table from me said, "Cool bag. Why do you have it? It seems a little small for your lunch." I said, "No reason." I saw my crush walk into the lunchroom, find his seat, and totally focus on his tuna fish sandwich. My face fell, but I realized it wasn't so bad. I didn't actually have a plan for what would happen once he saw my sexy bag. I remembered a story my mom told me about when she was a kid. She wasn't allowed to drink soda at school lunch, but she bought a can of Coca-Cola and was drinking it with a straw, a plastic straw, when someone elbowed her and the straw knocked her tooth in half. She's had to wear a cap on it ever since then, and it glowed in the black light that my brother and I bought so that our black light candles would make us feel like we were on drugs in the 1960s. We said, "Mom, your tooth is glowing," and she said, I felt relieved that my rebellious act was flying under the radar and left no visible marks. I was a precocious kid and increasingly identified with teachers. Luckily, not the gerbil named after the teacher. So when I became a college professor at the age of 27, thankfully, having an MFA in fine arts, which is a terminal degree, doesn't mean that you die. It just means that you enter an extremely competitive environment that doesn't pay a living wage. And you learn to pretend that you deserve a special little title. The person hiring me said, "You should have them call you professor. You look young." To soften the ask of having them refer to me formally, I told my students that my first name was Professor and my last name was Slutsky. when I was in grad school, I wanted to be friendly with everyone, my classmates, our faculty, even the students in the class I TA'd. One teacher in her 70s told us about her first day teaching back when she was in her 20s. She said she got up in front of the class and was just faced with this sea of attractive young men, and she was so startled. I'm imagining them in army uniforms coming off the GI Bill, but I actually have no idea what year this was. And she said all her preparation went out the window and she went completely blank. So she just ended the class after introducing herself. What if this happened to me? Now that I was finally teaching at CUNY College of Staten Island, I wondered that if I was too friendly with the students, I wouldn't be asked back. It was already so challenging positioning myself as someone who could teach college and then finding a job that I didn't want to jeopardize that by being too casual. The school I was teaching at had students of all ages. There was someone who was like a grandparent and everything. And where did I go? Blah, 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 blah. And a good portion of them were only a few years younger than me. I had no idea what I was doing. I felt like an imposter teaching in a video production program after only having ever used automatic settings on dad cameras to make my films. And I had never taken a video class. I was learning about aperture and shutter speed and all this technical stuff while on the job and doing a shitty job pretending I knew it already. So because the class was 4 hours long and over 2 hours away on the Staten Island Ferry, I had to bring food with me. I didn't want any of my students to find me attractive or have any kind of boundary issue. I hated that ratemyprofessors.com had the little red pepper symbol for hot teachers. I hated that the first rating I got on there was kind of mean, and I could tell who it was based on the fact that he used my pronouns correctly, and he was the only one that did that. This was my very first job as an out transgender person, and I knew that a lot of kids had no context for queer trans authority figures, and that my gender itself would be associated with youth. So I decided to get a dorky lunch bag. To be specific, it was and still is a gray nylon crossbody cooler from ebags.com. It was advertised with the image of it being filled with a 6-pack of soda on a long car trip with suitcases packed into the background. It was giving football dad back to Dre. We can like quiz, what kind of football dad later. Maybe Donnie can help with the Nike attack. I was sold by this football dad thing. So during the same time, I was on a protein journey, and I would bring my cold salmon with me in a Tupperware and eat it at my dirty ass computer station during breaks, hoping my coat wouldn't fall on the floor because I would always have to dust it off afterwards. The cooler had all these different zip compartments, which was so cool to me, being a football dad. So I installed salt packets, napkins, wet wipes, and little pieces of chocolate as food accessories. Even though salmon began to feel a little rude to eat in front of them, given the situation, at least it would deter them from getting too close. So I kept using this lunch bag when I got a new job at SUNY Purchase in the foundations art department. By now I had an unmedicated anxiety dog. And yes, I want you to imagine me as Professor Barbie with all my little accessories around. An anxiety dog is, has like a twisty tie and we're all tied to the cardboard together. So I was single and living alone. So for my day a week of teaching for 8 hours straight, with only a 10-minute break, I had to bring my dog Alfie to school, plus 2 meals for me and food and water for Alfie. That's a lot of stuff. When we entered the building, the little art students would go, "What?" And I was relieved they weren't talking about me, as far as I could tell, as I shuffled past them with all my crap. My schlepping looked like this: a huge parka, big backpack, like a big hump coming out with all my teaching materials, with 2 water bottles in it because the water fountain was on the other side of the school, an airplane regulation dog carrier, and my dorky ebags.com lunch bag. So by now I had graduated to a bento box and baggies of cut up vegetables, no dressing, but I added a little mini container of hummus. Plus, say it with me, a little piece of chocolate. I was doing so great, aging gracefully without any unwanted attention from students. Luckily, I taught first year, so I hopefully seemed a little too old to them. Then one semester, the office manager for the art department was helping me open my faculty mailbox, which was, it had a combination like a school locker. And she handed me this handmade note. As I unfolded it, we both cringed. It revealed a blocky drawing of a naked person with their bra on the floor, and it was signed by a name I didn't recognize, definitely by a student. I reported it to the Office of Community Standards, which made me feel a little better. At least this wouldn't reflect poorly on me. I wasn't sure if the note was even meant for me. Maybe this little art student wasn't sure which slot went with which name, or maybe my last name made them think that I was a slut. But this meant that the lunch bag hadn't worked after all. It hadn't protected me like my little dog thinks he does when he barks at the IT guy. In February of 2020, I met my spouse, Xander, and we did what any couple would do, which is move in together 3 weeks into a relationship because there was a global pandemic. In reality, he moved in really gradually, and we started thinking about cleaning out my stuff to make room for his. He glanced up above the kitchen cabinets and found himself looking at a recycling bag wrapped around a nylon cooler. He said, "Why do you have this?" I said, "So that my students don't find me sexy." Thank you.
Slutsky. Let's just keep it Slutsky. Wait, we're already there. We're eating it. Give it up again for Buzz. I want to read you a little bit about Buzz because you didn't know. Buzz Slutsky is a non-binary transgender artist, writer, and performer whose practice incorporates drawing, painting, sculpture, and video. Their visual art and writing often play between autobiographical and historical content. Lately, they've been drawing mashups between instructional manuals. Oh, period. That's a period. As a performer, Buzz has mixed stand-up comedy and musical comedy under the persona Stony Butchell. Stony Butchell, among others. They currently teach film and art to 18-year-olds at CUNY College of Staten Island. Not anymore, but you know, that's what the bio says. Yay, Buzz! Okay, are we ready for our next storyteller? Yay, is our next storyteller ready? Woo-hoo, yes, okay, I'm gonna read a little bit about you. Okay, Mindy Raff is a comedian, actress, writer, and musician based in Brooklyn, New York. Mindy has contributed to MTV's Girl Code, College Humor, TNT, VH1, The Daily Comedy Network, and is a published author with Penguin Random House. Her critically acclaimed solo comedy show, Not the One, a Love Story, was named an LGBT Best Bet by Time Out New York. Hilariously Quirky by Theater is Easy, Barrier Breaking by the Edinburgh Reporter, and Cheeky and Infectious by Ed Fest Magazine. Not the One is played to a sold-out run off Broadway at 59 East 59, garnered 4-star reviews at the Edinburgh Fringe Fest, and has sold out Brooklyn's Cloud City. I know Cloud City quite well as its guest production residency at NYC's Theater Lab. Everybody, please give it up for our return storyteller, Mindy Raff.
I didn't, when you said send me a bio, I just my mic on demand, just have it. I didn't really read the whole thing. I would say you a more cash bio, but I like it. I like that you read all the quotes. Hello. It's, oh, hello, internet. Hi. Like, look at my like Uniqlo heat tech shirt. It's so beautiful to look out in a sea full of queers, a lot of them wearing masks. It's so lovely. I've just started doing stand-up again, and people are just maskless and trying to French kiss you. It's a germ fest out there. It's beautiful to be here. I'm gonna take this mic stand off because I need to feel free just for me. Okay, so the story I'm gonna tell you, I want to be honest right away. I am the hero of the story. Like a huge hero. And this happened during the global pandemic. So I also want to add for context, I'm not a frontline worker. I'm not a first responder. I don't work in service. I was even volunteering at an animal rescue. The scene of my heroic encounter took place on a leisurely day in the Fire Island Pines. I also want to add for context that I did not save anybody's life. Nobody was drowning. No one got stung by a stingray. No one got bit by a shark. I will go as far to say that no one was really having any problems. But I was still a goddamn hero. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I went back into some of my old coping mechanisms, as I think we all did. I had a little bit of OCD food fixations. I decided that if I was eating a certain type of food, that I would stay healthy and my friends and family would stay healthy. Magical thinking is fun. The foods ranged throughout the pandemic. It started out with smoothies, certain kind of smoothie, I had to have that. Then it turned into oatmeal. Then it turned into an avocado toast. Then it turned into cashew yogurt. And I know what you're thinking, Mindy. This doesn't sound like an unhealthy fixation. This sounds like a white woman snacking. You are correct. And to get over certain fixations, I would always move on to another fixation, another category. I know that's not super healthy, but sometimes it works when you're desperate. So to get over the food fixations, I moved on to TikTok and started becoming obsessed with watching videos of crows. You know what I'm talking about. So you know what I know, that crows are fucking amazing. So if you don't know a lot about crows, you're welcome. Okay, so crows' brains are like bigger than ours, some of them. This is true. They make a caw sound, which I love because caw, like when I see a hot queer, that's what I do. Crows are social. Crows mate for life. Crows, when a crow dies, all the other crows attend the crow's funeral. They sit Shiva, okay? Because they want to learn about the place the crow died for the future, which I relate to. If I'm somewhere and someone's like, you know, so-and-so died right here, I'm out. I'm gonna leave, but I'm gonna go there to take intel. The number one thing I was obsessed with about crows is that they hold grudges. Crows memorize your faces, and if you wrong them, they never forget. Not only do they never forget, but they will imprint your face into their memory. They will tell all of their friends and family. This is true. I saw it on the internet. And even younger generations of crows who weren't at the original incident, I swear to TikTok, these crows will remember. There was a scientific study, people wore masks, look it up. You can also become friends with crows, which is what I wanted to do. The way you become friends with crows is you leave them treats, which is like amazing for me because that's how I become friends with humans. So I was very excited. It seemed very simple. You leave a crow a treat. The crow brings you back a gift. Treat, gift, a transactional relationship. How lovely is that? How simple. If anyone's friends with me, they know that I give treats. If I meet you at a party and I like you, I'm probably going to pull out a snack from my purse and offer it to you. If I don't like you, move on, Chad. That granola bar is not for you. But it seemed really fun to have a transactional friendship. I think it's really hard to make friends sometimes. It's hard to make adult friends. People always say this, but like it's so easy when you're a kid. I didn't really have trouble like making friends as a kid, but I had trouble like keeping them. I think it's hard to maintain friendships. And I don't know what it was about me when I was younger, maybe because I had like undiagnosed ADHD, or maybe I had anxiety, or maybe I was super queer and I didn't know it, or maybe I had like giant bosoms in the 4th grade, but girls didn't want to like keep me around their friend group. And I had a group of friends, and when I did, I was like, you just have to keep this friend group around to graduation, like let them know you, but not like you. So I got this new group of friends my freshman year of high school because the middle schools merged. So nobody knew me, like half those people, you know, it's like new, clean slate. And they were really nice to me, and they invited me out to a lot of things. So we didn't have a lot in common, but I was like, these are my people. And all I had to do was pretend that I didn't like musical theater. And that I was really interested in learning how to give a good blowjob. Which I don't and I don't. And it's really hard when you're a kid and you're masking, but you don't know that you're masking. So eventually you get exhausted and the mask falls off, which is what happened because I started lecturing them on why they should not give blowjobs and why they should not be dating boys or hanging out with boys at all. And then one night at a sleepover, I might have sang a medley from Barbra Streisand's 1991 CD, Just for the Record. I might have played both Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland.
Yes.
Thank you. You know the song I'm talking about. And maybe a couple months later, Joanna Cohen, the head of the group, told me that they don't want to be friends with me anymore. And she used the term, which is before it was trendy on Instagram. She used the term, "You're too much." I know. It was trendy on Instagram. No, nobody's too much. It's true. But she told me I was too much. Okay, so now we're in 2023. I have not made a crow friend yet, but I do have human friends. And I'm on my way to Fire Island Pines. Now, the first time I went to the Fire Island Pines was in 2015. And that was also the first time I was ever topless in public. It was amazing. Once my tits like hit the salt, I was like, I'm never going back. And they were like, we're never going back. I laid down on my back, both my tits like parted like the Red Sea. I was like, let my people go. We are walk through my tits to the promised land. I'm never going back. I was free. I was free. Then this dude walked by me and I was like, hit my face with his dick. And I was like, so is he. So now it's 2023 and my tits are now like Pavlovian trained to like jump out of my sundress whenever they see the ferry, okay? Like if I just Google the word like Sayville ferry service, my tits are like, oh, it's too soon. So I wanna say, and I think we all know this, there's two types of beach queers. We can put them into two categories. I've recently named them. There's the naiads and the snackers. You'll know who you are. The naiads, they jump into the ocean as if they are a marathon swimmer, Diana Naiad, and they are about to try to swim from Fire Island to P-Town. The snackers, thank you. Hello, snackers. You know what we do. We dip in the water, but only to empty our bladder. And then we go back and we guard the snacks. I think everyone here's a snack, right? Okay, so all my friends are in the water. Everybody's in the water. We got the naiads and the snackers all together, okay? All of a sudden, I hear the words, no. And then another friend says, our food. Now I'm closest to the sand, okay? So I turn back and I see a dark shadow over my snack bag. And I see a bird swooping in. I know. Okay, now I would not label me as a runner, but I gunned it like I was trying to get a medal. I had a looping voice in my head that was like, you save the safe food, save the safe food, save your safe food. I was sprinting against the wind, topless. I got to the towels. I saw the bird. You know what's coming. It was a crow. It was a magnificent, glorious, hungry crow. Now, did I soften up? Did I say, this is my time to finally make a friend? Here, crow, why don't you take the snack bag? Can I offer you a pair of gluten-free artisanal bread? No, I doubled down. I clapped my hands, trying to make thunder. I was screaming, no, 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 no. I looked the crow in the eyes. And the crow looked at me in the tits. He was looking at my tits, which I don't blame him. I do not blame that crow for being fixated on my tits because I'm running forward, right? Like my whole body's going forward, but the tits are going horizontal. At one point, they were going to be like a burlesque tassel crow. So I understand why he was so fixated. So he was so entranced by my glorious tits that he drops the snack bag. And I was like, Oh, and he flew away. Thank you. I know, I was so excited. I felt victorious, but then also a little defeated because it's a crow. And I always wanted to become friends with a crow, and now I messed it up. And also, I saw him looking at my tits for so long that I was sure he had memorized what they looked like. And he was gonna tell all of his crow friends and family about my tits, and then I would never be able to take my shirt off on the East Coast again, because a murderer of crows would be like, that's it, we got her, we recognize those tits, it looks just like the sketch on the corkboard, get her, get her, get her. I also was feeling a little dejected about my nervous system. So I've been in therapy, somatic therapy, and I was supposed to like take deep breaths before I did any random actions. I was supposed to relax. I was supposed to be in my body. And maybe if I was, I would have given the crow a snack. We would have become best friends and we could have had the best of both worlds. But instead I was like, my food. So I'm feeling dejected. And then I hear behind me hooting, hollering, cheering. My friends were losing their shit. I heard things like, you're our hero. You saved our snacks. I've never seen you run before. We were so happy, which made me so happy. And I like got swept up in the moment and I held up the snack bag like victoriously. And I was thinking about it more recently and I was like, you know what, fuck that crow, okay? Because he had a chance to be friends with me. He had a chance to get to know me. He didn't want to get to know me. He just wanted to use me for my snacks, okay? And honestly, like, he didn't respect my boundaries. Like, all I was doing was enforcing a boundary. I was enforcing a boundary that says, I don't share my snacks with strangers, okay? He couldn't handle it. And maybe one day, if I'm on another coast, where crows don't know me anymore, I will meet a crow and I will finally make a crow friend. But until then, I have these wonderful friends who really love me and I think would still love me even if I didn't provide the treats. Thank you.
Wow. So basically, it sounds like the crows work like the internet. It's like once one piece, little corner of the crow network finds out, it's everywhere. And you're canceled. You're canceled. Not you, but one gets canceled, and it comes from one little thing that happens, and thank you for coming, by the way. Oh, by the way, if you want to donate the money online, it's at BGSQD on Venmo, at BGSQD on Venmo. And the money goes to me and the artists, the storytellers, and the bookstore. So please, the one person that may be out there, give us $6,000. We need this. Eating it. We got it. $6,000. $1,000 for you. Yeah, I remember that time I did Dre's storytelling show. $1,000. The greatest game of my life. We were eating it. Oh my goodness. By the way, I have to tell some sad news to the online world. This is this is the end of the streaming portion of the show. And we thank you for coming to the show. And that is because, how do I say this? The show will go on, but without the internet. That's how we're gonna do the rest of the show. And we thank you for coming and thank you very much. We love you. Say goodnight to the audience. Audience, say goodnight.
Bye.
Bye, we love you. Oh, look at everybody. Thank you, thank you. Bye. Ray's gonna come say goodnight. And then we're gonna take a little break and then we're gonna come